I've often thought about what would the perfect player look like.
It might play the game in a completely different way from the way that we play it.
As a chess player, you want to know more about chess, you want to get deeper, and there is so much still to learn.
AlphaZero played a match against Stockfish, which was the strongest computer that we all knew, and it won the match.
And all of a sudden I thought, wow,
does this really work? How does it know how to do it?
I started thinking, oh, it's quite interesting, and there's just a couple of games that went bang.
These were very exciting games, very attacking games, giving pawns away right at the early stages of the game. The other computers were thinking, well, that's too early.
AlphaZero doesn't have any rules. It learns through experience.
Really didn't think there was room for this huge attacking style, never in my wildest dreams.
There's even more depth than we thought in chess.
It's like discovering the secret notebooks of some great player from the past.
It explains AlphaZero's strategies.
How does AlphaZero think? AlphaZero blows apart what traditional engines are doing. Hello everyone, welcome.
Hi there.
Welcome to this stream. We had a few audio problems last time, so we're both wearing headsets. But please let us know whether you can hear anything at all. We think it's all good, but yeah, just let us know. Otherwise, we'll just switch back. But this should actually help things a little bit. So yeah, it is the championship, the first round of the championship, and a very strong tournament it is indeed. We've been watching the qualifiers for the past few days, and now finally it's beginning. We've got a nice range of Grandmasters for you. Some of the qualifiers that we've grown to. Hey, great, Mark, fantastic, nice to hear you. So yeah, I've got a good range of Grandmasters, lots of qualifiers that we've grown to know and love, and so we're going to see how they get on against the top players. There's some good matchups today, so really looking forward to that.
With board one, and we've got Tristan Cox, who is one of the qualifiers we've been following. He's called Rock Troll, and he is against Grandmaster Michael Adams. So this is going to be a very interesting game. And then on board two, Grandmaster Matthew Turner against Thomas Wills. And then on three, we've got International Master Ameet Ghasi, who's black, against Harry Evans. We've got Daniel Fernandez playing, Mark Hebden, Bogdan Lalic, Matthew Wadsworth, one of the top junior players. And so we've got some very good games lined up for you tonight.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, I think Michael is definitely the huge favourite. I mean, really a super class player. I think he's the favourite in any tournament where British players are involved, whoever turns up. Just in terms of dark horses for the tournament, certainly Ameet Ghasi is always a very dangerous player, a superb blitz and rapid player. And also, very strong standard player as well, and I think definitely worth a GM title. So I think he might cause a few shocks there.
He does a very good King's Indian attack. I've seen him play that so many times, and just get a really nice position with it.
Yeah, he's got a very narrow repertoire, but a very well worked out one. The King's Indian attack with white indeed is something he plays extremely well. Obviously, we're cheering on Mark Hebden as well, of course. The always a lovely player to watch, and a lovely guy as well. So so close so many times in the British Championship, and never quite made it, which is quite astonishing.
Will this be his year? It could be.
Will this be his year? You never know.
Do you think if he got to the final round, playing Michael Adams on top board, that he would maybe give him a draw to help him joint win the title?
Oh, I don't know. It would be.
I don't think so. I don't think chess works like that. But it would be lovely. Well, I suppose Mark could win it in his own right, obviously.
Indeed, it would be a lovely story. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Always interesting to see what he's come up with in the opening. He's got a lot of lovely little systems and and always tricky and everything. So it's always fun to watch him.
I'm also looking forward to seeing games from William Claridge Hansen. He is another junior player, and he grew up in the same town that I grew up in. So I know his father used to play at chess club together.
Yeah, and then also I think the qualifiers. I was very impressed with Thomas Villiers, I have to say, Hack Attack, as he is on this channel. He played extremely well, you know. So I think would expect some good stuff from him as well.
Yes, he takes on another qualifier, Mark Greenwood, today. And
Indeed.
we've also got Julia Volovic, who qualified. She is playing Welsh player Gregors Toksek. Is that how you say it? And
Toksek, I think, yeah.
Toksek, yeah. So she played very well in the qualifiers as well.
Indeed, we've got a few players who are playing both the Women's Championship and this Open Championship. So Zoe Varney and Julie O are the ones that come to mind.
Yes, yes, more as well. Tashika Aurora as well.
Indeed.
And Julia's not, is she? Julia's just playing the Open. We've also got Katarzyna Toma playing the Open. She's not playing the Women's.
Indeed. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it, to play both events? It's, I mean,
well,
online chess is quite tiring,
doesn't it? Yeah.
Indeed, but I think it's great. I mean, I think it's really good to to play both. Fantastic, but going to be I mean, it's 9 rounds for both, isn't it? So it's going to be just afternoon,
so
evening.
Playing, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Each day.
So going to be a tough one, but looking forward to see how they do. Right. So shall we try and? Oh, thank you, Guitar Man. That's really nice. So yeah, we're enjoying this. Really nice to do this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, Natasha. So just tell me if that works properly.
Let me just get onto the right page so that
Chess.com. Chess.com. There we are. Now we should have a board coming up.
Yes, I see it.
Oh, actually, have they? Oh, look at that! Amazing, amazing what you can do. Yeah. It's, they've really. These were new features for my software, but it wasn't working before, but now it is. Fantastic, brilliant. I can just change it around just on the fly. Okay, I'll just do that, and then we are 100% ready to go. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Okay, so the time is 2 minutes till start.
Okay, who are we going to watch first? Michael Adams?
Absolutely. I mean, Rock Troll was quite a hacker. He was really trying to play for the win non-stop.
He was, wasn't he? He played quite direct openings. So it should be interesting to see. Although I think Mickey he doesn't mind that sort of stuff. I think because he can just play normal and defend fine.
Yeah, Mickey's a very tough proposition for anyone. It's I mean, I think if you're going to stand a chance against him, it's in sharp, unbalanced positions because he's so smooth positionally. But I mean, he's very hard to get into those tactical positions, and he's a fantastic defender when he does. So
he really is. I was telling my Mickey Adams story already that I was playing in Dublin 1990, and I just lost this game, and I was so upset. And I said to Mickey, "Can you cheer me up? We're just sitting in the analysis room. Can you cheer me up? Just play a game, and you can just let me win." And he said he'd try. We played for a bit. After a while, he said, "Oh, this is just too difficult," and he just beat me.
It's tough. It's tough.
I know.
Chess players don't lose easily or with pleasure.
He was genuinely trying to lose at the start, but yeah.
He's
and his chess playing instinct kicked in.
Indeed, it's so I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. That's always always slightly less of a pleasure when he's opposite the board to you, but fine when you're just watching. We haven't actually mentioned another very strong player, the number 2 seed Matthew Turner, who representing Scotland. Who,
yes, he plays for the Barbican 4 NCL team. So I've played alongside him a lot of times. It's really funny to watch his games because it always looks like he, in my view, it always looks like he doesn't quite know what he's doing, or he's quite casual about the openings and whatever, and then he'll just conjure up some attack from nowhere, and he's just checkmating the right guy, and he just wins game after game like that.
Yeah, he's a very tricky player indeed. Very good tactically, and yeah, a very strong player. I mean, I think objectively, I think he is definitely Michael's biggest challenger there. It's indeed, Mark, indeed.
The Grob and the Burrs, yeah. Now
yeah,
you're
G4 F4, yeah.
Yeah, he should have done that. You didn't think of that.
I'll just try a few different people just to see whether some games have started already. There's nothing yet. It's 2 past. Checkmate a lot.
Oh yes.
A couple of Finn brothers in the tournament. So Chris Finn and Peter Finn, who was very, very nervous, but apparently, according to him, he sneaked in on the last qualification place. 12 players qualified. And he had started already.
Okay.
And he is playing Tom O'Gorman, one of the strongest Irish players. And we've got a Tory attack here. D4, Knight F6. Knight F3, G6, Bishop G5, Bishop G7, and Knight.
It's quite hard to know what to do against the Tory sometimes. Have you got any tips for what a black player should do?
Well, I've always been impressed. There was a game of Luke McShane's against Malanyuk. Malanyuk was a big expert.
Oh, Malanyuk, he plays the Dutch, doesn't he?
He plays the Dutch as well. And Luke did something like this: D6, E4, and Knight C6, and then played E5 afterwards. And I don't know how good it is, but he played an absolutely wonderful game. You know, it was really so impressive. So I've always thought that's a pretty good line. Otherwise, to be honest, I do also like you can play these kind of reversed Reti things with Bishop B7 and then Knight BD7, and then you play E5 as well. You know, I mean, this is also quite decent. But yeah, I mean, these are very, very solid openings. And obviously, if you're a King's Indian player, you know, it's not always what you want, you know, to do that. But I've always thought those 2 systems are quite reasonable for black. You know, it's. But I think the mistake that people always make is that they think, oh, it's not that dangerous. I don't need to know much about it concretely. But actually, especially with computer preparation nowadays, you know, even non-critical lines like this can be prepared quite deeply, you know, with engines pointing out interesting tactical possibilities and the rest. So I would say if the advice is really, if you're not sure what to do against something as black, then play it with white. And then you always find out, you know, that the things that you feared aren't quite as dangerous. You pick up on things that that you hadn't noticed before, that are awkward, you know, for the white side, and that really does help. I think that's the very best advice I can give, you know. And it's unfortunately it's something I didn't do. I had a very narrow repertory as a professional. And it's one of the things I regret, because I think playing a lot broader repertory would have been really, really helpful. So we've got Ifan RJ against Daniel Fernandez, who is called "Luck is My Skill."
Okay.
Let me make a note of that username, because we were lacking a few a few of the usernames for the stronger players. Luck is my skill. Well, there we are. Daniel Fernandez, that's a player you could never accuse of having a narrow repertory. That's yeah. I mean, he really plays absolutely everything, really. What he's done in this game is quite bizarre. So d4, knight f6, bishop f4, solid London system.
Yeah.
Knight f3, bishop e7, e3, knight h5. Yeah, I mean, sometimes normally when black goes bishop e7, actually, that's the signal for white to play h3.
So this is Daniel as black.
Exactly, yeah. Because after bishop e7, e3, you can play knight h5, and you are going to win this bishop. So so usually bishop e7, that's the signal for white to play h3. So I think e3 is slightly inaccurate. So bishop g3, and then yeah, this move g6. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure whether it was. It didn't feel particularly necessary, already. But it's probably a move that black will want to play later. But I would have just played, I think, something like d6. And I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I can't really see a reason why black would need to play g6 straight away. But
would it be to do with trying to defend the knight?
Well, it can be, but if it's not attacked yet, you don't really need to. It's a slightly strange move, but I mean, it's quite conceivable that you'd need to play it later anyway. Of course, what black is trying to do is to delay capturing on g3. The longer you delay, the more white doesn't quite know what he should do. Should he castle kingside or queenside, or it's a flexibility thing. Just black's going to leave the knight on h5 for as long as possible, and then take on g3 at some stage. But yeah, as I said, a slight inaccuracy, I think, from white there in the opening. But yeah, obviously still a very normal position. So let's have a look maybe at
what about Bogdan?
Bogdan Lalic, indeed, playing Sean the Prawn.
So Bogdan again is another player that really can play any opening at all. He knows theory on anything. He actually used to coach me for a while, and I would just mention the name of an opening, any opening, and he would just reel off into reams of theory, just like off the top of his head, without the board there. And I'd say, look, Bogdan, you just got to put it on the board for me, and we'd do any opening that he wanted.
I haven't got Bogdan yet, but
he maybe hasn't yet.
What I have got is Ameet Ghasi.
Oh yes, excellent. Let's see.
Against Hasban, and that is Harry Evans, another qualifier.
Okay.
So London system, popular, of course.
It's popular.
Transposes to a sort of a perk. Queen a5, queen d2, knight bd7. So yeah, Ameet plays all sorts of systems like this. Eventually he'll go g6 and bishop g7. He always does, but he often delays a little bit. Just plays around with the move orders.
And do you dislike the London? You dislike playing against it, or you dislike playing it, or watching it?
Well, watching it more like. No, I mean, it's just, at some stage there was the Tromkovsky and everyone played it because of, of Julian Hodgson and his advocacy. And now you've got the London system, which comes all the time. I mean, I don't find it a particularly exciting system. So, yeah, seeing a lot of games with it is, it's not always the world's most exciting thing, but well, a lot of black players here, they're trying slightly unusual stuff to get unusual positions. So yeah, and Ameet, of course, is playing his sort of perk modern systems. I mean, Ameet always gets a complicated position simply because of the risky openings that he plays as black. So that is perfectly fine there.
Yeah.
Let's see whether we can get to Rock Troll and see whether Michael Adams has started yet. He has started.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord. Michael playing the Slav. My goodness. So d4, d5, c4, c6. It takes bishop f4, almost a London system, really. An exchange Slav.
Well, Peter Finn, congratulations on winning then. You got a walkover in the first round. So who are you due to be playing? Let me have a look.
Danny Gormally, who withdrew before.
Yeah, okay. Yes, he withdrew. Yes.
So bishop f4. So this is the exchange Slav. And again, I keep on saying this, but there's a very good DVD by Simon Williams, also on the exchange Slav as well, with plenty of ideas. This is one of the modern main lines. So bishop f5. I mean, black is trying to get his bishop outside the pawn chain and play e6. Now, the old main line was knight f3. But this is a very common idea for white. This is still big mainline theory. You go knight a, you attack b7, black goes knight a5. You give a check. The bishop goes back to d7, and then you go back to d1. And black goes e6. And black's gained a couple of moves, you could say. But those moves are bishop d7 and knight a5. So you're not 100% sure whether these are good moves or bad moves for black. I'm just...
Has Mickey played this before?
Mickey has played the Slav before. That is absolutely... I have seen him play it in before. Not very often, I don't think, but I haven't really kept track of his games recently. As a young player, he was always a Nimzo Indian, Queen's Indian type of guy. But I mean, he's broadened out his repertory well, quite a bit, over the years. Obviously, you can't go your whole life without changing unless you're Keith Arkle, of course. That's. So this is, I think this is mainline theory. I thought actually that white normally played the queen back to c2 rather than go back to d1. I'm just going to check that. Yeah, queen to c2. In this position, queen to c2 is much more normal, than queen d1. But it has been queen d1 is known. E6 and white plays knight f3. And bishop b4 from black as well. So yeah, that's very reasonable for black. I think black in principle. I don't think black has got many problems here, but it is a symmetrical position. So black's going to have to work a little bit hard to make something of this. But yeah, Michael looking quite comfortable here already.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at
Mark
Matthew Turner. I just
Matthew Turner, good idea. Yes.
Oh wow, this has gone a little bit strange. So Matthew Turner playing the Trompowsky as white, and black playing f6, which actually is supposed to be quite a strong reply. Now, wait a minute. Knight h6, e3.
This known theory?
This is well known. Knight f5, bishop d3. Okay. Yeah, the point is if you go bishop g3, oops, good lord, sorry. If you go, let me get an analysis board up. So if you go bishop g3, then h5 is surprisingly awkward, threatening h4, and how are you going to get this bishop free? So bishop d3 was played. So if knight h4, I've got queen h5 check.
Yeah.
So
if you interpose knight g6, you just take that.
Indeed. So knight g6, we've got bishop takes g6 check there. So h5, just to stop the queen from getting to h5. And white takes, and f3. And well, black's got the two bishops, but there's a slight weakness on the on the king side with the pawn on h5. It's just a normal complicated position, with where both sides are doing absolutely fine.
I think that suits Matthew Turner pretty well, having a sort of complex but not so well known position.
Exactly.
He
Yeah.
could
No,
be comfortable with that.
I'm sure he's very happy with that. That's pretty good. That's going to be an interesting game. Let's have a look. You want to see Mark Hebden?
Yes, please.
We have got Mark Hebden. Ha! We have got a London system.
Another one.
But
One
transposing
will
to
be pleased.
it's actually Mark calls this the lazy tromp, because of course the Tromposki is Bishop G5.
And you can't be bothered to move it that far.
You can't be bothered to move it that far. No, you only move it to F4. So sorry, I'm doing this. So Bishop F4, D5, E3, G6, and Knight C3. And Mark is back into a Barry, his famous and favoured opening of all time. Bishop G7, H4. Black plays H5. Knight F3, castles. B2. C5, and I mean Mark has done all sorts of things in this line. Really hard to keep up with what he does. Often he's played without H4, H5. He's played the knight to E5, which is very sensible. Here he's played D takes C5, Queen A5, castles, Queen takes C5, and Knight B5. So aiming for the C7 square there. So we will see what that leads to.
So Black could defend with Knight A6, defending that square.
Well, I'm not sure. The question is, do you have to? I mean, you could play simply Knight E6 here, and if Knight C7, you go Rook B8. And yeah, I mean,
what's the
assuming you don't mind a draw by repetition, then you know that's absolutely fine. I'm trying to work out, why did Mark include H4, H5? Of course, one good thing is that this bishop is now safe. Without H4 and H5 in, Black might have a move like Knight H5, for example. But here he doesn't. The king side is a little bit weaker, you know, and Black does get the G4 square for his pieces. But yeah, this I'm sure, you know, Mark's got a specific tactical reason why, you know, he would want to do this. But Knight C6 would be my, you know, first thing I think of, really. Now I'm just wondering. I mean, one thing that you could try with White here is C3, and this actually well, there are a few interesting points here. For example, if you go A6, I'll go B4, and then
Bishop C7
traps the queen.
Very nice.
So this could actually be a little awkward, C3, because I'm not 100% sure how you do that. How would you get yourself free?
E6.
Oh, then we go Bishop D6.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Or even, I mean, we could even go B4 and here, and well, we're almost trapping the queen. Maybe A4 followed by Knight D6. So I mean, it could be that that Knight C6 is a spectacularly bad move. I mean, that's completely possible.
Has it been played? This is just analysis, isn't it?
This is just analysis, I think. I mean, you could play A5, but then of course you're conceding this square to the knight, you know, and maybe go A4, and you can definitely claim that you've made a little game there. So yeah, I don't know whether there's something clever that Black can do here. But this does actually look quite awkward for the queen. So, but if you're not going to do that, what might you do? Well, Knight
something like Knight. You'd give up the exchange if you did that. Knight E4.
Knight E4. That's sharp. You want to take on B2, but I don't know. I mean, Knight here. You could go E5. That would possibly be quite annoying because Knight A8, I've got EF. So Knight E4 would be a possibility. We can just go, how would this work? Knight E4. If I go C3 and then you go with Knight C7, I always want to play E5.
Oh, because we're not defending our deep one anymore.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting actually, because I've just realized a point for having H4, H5 in, because you could actually play a move like Knight E5, Queen C7, and then Knight G6. and then you're going to take on f8, and then
Yeah,
with
and the h5's on freeze.
So I don't know. I mean, I think there's some quite interesting lines. I'm sure Mark's analysed this very thoroughly. You know, it's, has he actually? Ooh, knight c6 has been played.
Okay, so we're expecting c3 now.
Yeah,
with threats on the queen.
C3. That's right. And I'm not 100% sure here, but I think it might be. This could conceivably turn out quite awkward for black. Yeah. I'm not. I'm just not really sure how this is supposed to work. Actually, how on earth would you stop this threat of b4 and bishop c7? I mean, you know, moves like knight, like yay! My guess was correct. C3. So, yeah. I think black's probably in trouble already. Actually, I think maybe a5 is the best, but I mean, even how could we do this? Yeah, I mean, even a move like a4. I mean, it's pleasant having the knight on here, but I mean, you could even play, you know, a move like rook c1 and play for c4, for example, now that this knight on b5 is safe. So, yeah, I think Mark's doing very well. I think he's got his preparation there. Let's have a look at Matthew Wadsworth.
Good idea. So Matthew Wadsworth. So Zoe Varney is white against Matthew Wadsworth.
Indeed. Matthew Wadsworth, a strong junior player, Guildford player, who, well, you've really seen improve in leaps and bounds in the last few years. He was, you know, 2100, and all of a sudden he was IM strength. And we actually saw him at the varsity match, taking on Hao Yifan on top board and causing a draw. So for Cambridge, so you know, very he's a very good, very solid player, you know, and a very serious, very tough defender. So. Yeah, but here actually, I quite like. Do I like White's opening here? It looks sort of impressive.
Peter played in the varsity match as well. Were you playing Oxford or Cambridge, Peter?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wondering a little bit about this bishop on d4. It's worrying me slightly. I mean, if I played, I mean, a move like f6, for example, you know, is quite. Won't let me guess. A move like f6 is quite interesting, just to get e5. I mean, this knight on d5 is a little bit loose, but this bishop on d4 is a little bit awkward. On the other hand, well, moves like bishop a7, we've got knight takes c3, so. It feels a little bit awkward for black, but actually, probably black is just doing absolutely fine here, I think.
You'd want to get the queen in, wouldn't you? Like knight e5 and queen h5, and
there's no queen on the board.
Oh, that would be why you can't do that. I'm just imagining these possibilities that just really aren't there at all.
So I think I would the first move I'd look at certainly would be f6 as black, just to have this possibility of e5. But I'm actually slightly intrigued as to whether this has been played before. Let's just have a little look at that, because I haven't. This isn't a line of the c3 Sicilian that I know particularly well. These I never particularly liked them with black. I always felt that that I was just getting into an ending where I was just going to be a little bit worse and not really have any chances for a win. But that's yeah, I mean, that's probably a little bit of an oversimplification. But bishop e7, bishop. Let's have a look. Just trying to see whether this has been played before. I would have thought it'd been played before. It looks fairly plausible. No, no games in the database.
Gosh. So who did the novelty?
Well, I'm having a look here actually. So knight b6, bishop d3 was played before. castles. Was castles the novelty?
Doesn't look.
No, b4 was the novelty. So this move b4 was the novelty.
There's always done a novelty.
Yeah, quite sharp. To be honest, very very principled, and definitely an interesting idea.
So she could call it the Varney variation.
Definitely could. It's so Matthew's played knight ac7, which is also a very logical move. Tempting white rather to take on a7, but I think then we just go b6, and this knight is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Let's have a look. What could we do with white here? Do we have any nice ways of?
I'd be tempted to castle, so that then if you do get something stuck on if the a file does open, then your rook's defended.
Yeah, I mean that's a very sensible move. Just trying to think whether there's anything more exciting we can do. The problem is, moves like this, I think you just retreat the bishop, and then f6 is going to come with tempo there. So okay, if I go castles, what could we do here? Don't particularly want to take there. I suppose I want to play a6 here. And then the question is, am I going to take this knight or am I going to move back? I mean, this knight is not great, but on the other hand, a knight on a3 won't be great. And we've also got this bishop a4 idea, which, I thought, well, maybe we'll have some compensation, but it doesn't look like too much. So maybe white should just take off there. And then, yeah, it's just... I don't know. I would have thought white must have a little edge, surely. Just maybe knight here or bishop e4. I would have thought white's got a little edge here, but nothing horrific, but just a slight edge. Let's have a look. See, we had a look before, but Bogdan hadn't started yet.
Oh yes.
But no, it looks like no, I'm not seeing anything. So I'm not sure. Maybe Bogdan isn't playing actually. How
about William Claridge Hansen?
Okay. So look against Oliver Stubbs.
Yes.
What have we got here? This has been an English opening, and Black's played quite sensibly, I think. And the position is about equal.
It sounds like Bogdan had connection problems for the Zoom call.
Oh no! Oh dear!
I hope you managed to get on.
Yeah, no, that's that's unfortunate. I mean, just really, it's a tough thing about this online chess. You've got all sorts. We know sit with the commentary that everything can be set up perfectly. You think, and Peter, I do remember you now. Come to think of it, I hadn't associated you with the Cambridge varsity match, but I remember you did indeed play in the varsity match. Yes, of course. Oh, well, good to meet you.
I think, if I remember right, I think Oxford won the match.
I think they did.
Now. The series is very close. I know that.
Yeah, no, I think they did, but Cambridge was much, much stronger, and the match was actually surprisingly close.
Yeah.
But Peter, you weren't the person playing the very last game, were you? The absolutely dramatic one where it went back and forth. Well, we'll get her. I'm sorry if I'm misremembering you, but there was this absolutely dramatic. Yeah. You were. That was you. Yes, of course. I remember it now. Oh, what a game that was! Amazing game, really amazing. So, fantastic. Well, glad you're in the championships. Looking forward to seeing some more great games from you. Looking at William Claridge Hansen, what is White going to do here? Well, I think White's idea. Come on, Natasha. What would you do with White in this position?
Oh my goodness, what would I do? Well, you see that queen looks a bit out of place. Oh, do you want to go just A4, A5?
I was going to say you're in a Keith Arkle, and
Am I in a Arkle? Swap the queens.
Well, also, but I think I'd be looking for a plan with A4, B5, just a minority attack, and you're basically going to try and win these three for these two. I mean, that seems like that's really the the only part of the game where you say White's got any advantage there. I mean, White has played H4, so you sort of think, oh, could there be a weakness? But I don't think there is yet. So I mean, I would probably play.
Because Keith Arkle would say White has an advantage because the D pawn is more valuable than the C pawn, right?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that was his theory there. So yeah, that was an incredible game, Peter. I really it was so amazing, so amazing. It's indeed the minority attack guitar man.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
As featured, yeah. So I think I'd probably go Queen C2 and just to tie this one down a little bit, and then afterwards Rook B1, A4 B5, and White is just a little bit better. I mean, it's just going to be quite hard for Black to get any sort of counterplay there. So, and I think you should.
I'm trying to think because we did do a Chess for Life talk at Gerrard's Cross. I'm trying to remember if Hans was there, the dad of William, and then he might be really doing it based on Chess for Life, that chapter on Keith Arkle.
I don't know.
Let's see if he plays that.
It's but I think that looks very pleasant indeed for White. So nice advantage, I think. Nice position to play. Let's have a look at Oscar Idle, who is another qualifier who came twice on the show to show us his games. He is playing. Who is Oscar playing? He is playing Tanmay Chopra. Ah,
very strong player.
Is that right? Actually,
I think so. 22 something or other.
Yeah, no, but,
he'd certainly be the favourite.
I'm seeing Fisher fan 23084 and a British flag, whereas Tanmay Chopra had the Indian flag on his. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's hard to know sometimes who these people are. Simply, that's why I'm wondering slightly. But
okay, I'll look up the draw. So Oscar Idle should be playing Tanmay Chopra.
Yeah, no, it's just we don't actually have his username on there, so we don't actually know who whether Fisher fan 230804 is actually
Fisher fan. Yes.
But anyway, yeah, White's got a slight advantage here. Two bishops. The bishop on b2 isn't great, but I mean you're going to be able to play f3 and e4, and yeah, I mean that should be. These positions are normally quite nice for White. I mean, another plan is to go f3 and g4 and just expand on the king side. This should be a very pleasant advantage for White here.
Fisher fan, it is meant to be Tanmay Chopra.
Okay, fantastic. That's great. Yeah, so probably White for choice here, I think. Now let's have a look at Julia Volovic.
Yes. So now she is playing, I think it was a Welsh player, wasn't it?
A Welsh tiger. So it must be a strong player. Jonathan Blackburn, rated 2235.
Gregor Toczek.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sorry. Yes, Gregor Toczek, 2271. Absolutely right. So Julia is White here. And I think they probably had some little transmission problems because they've only just seemed to have started there. Their clocks have only just started. So, and this is a slightly unusual move, bishop f5, trying to stop White from playing e4. Yeah, quite a decent little sideline. I mean, White can play queen b3 in this position. That's the normal reaction to an early move of the queen's bishop, just hitting the pawn on b7. I think that knight g5 is a common move as well to play e4 anyway. So this has been played quite a lot, I think. I think that's the main move. I've also seen knight d2 as well. And of course, if you're happy to play a g3 King's Indian, then a g3 would also be possible. But yeah, sorry, that's a little bit weird what's happened there. Knight c3, bishop f5, g3, followed by bishop g2, and you're into a normal King's Indian. In actual fact, yeah, this might be a tiny bit early against this. Bishop G7, Bishop G2 afterwards. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit of an odd move, but it's offbeat. Oh, I also haven't mentioned that after Bishop F5, Knight H4 is another possibility. This board is not refreshing very well. Bishop F5, Knight H4 is another possibility to try and play E4 as well. So lots of possibilities, a slightly offbeat line for black. Now we've actually got queens and pawns. That's Jude Shearsby.
Ah, yes. This is playing. Is this Jonathan Blackburn?
This is Jonathan Blackburn. Ooh, black under pressure here, looks like. So we've had a...
Hi, Shivant. Hi there.
Hi, Shivant. 1 a.m. here. Okay, my goodness me. Have a good sleep, Shivant. So Knight C6, so an offbeat line, one that I've played actually with quite a bit of success whenever I've done it. Just really trying to provoke white, you know, with D5. Black played, white played, experienced player played the solid Knight F3, and black transposed into some sort of King's Indian. And well, in actual fact, this is a pretty normal G3 King's Indian, and here white played D5, which is slightly unusual. We're normally going, oops, terribly sorry. We're normally going Knight C3 in this position, and we actually had a game between Raylin Posadas and Ketavan Arakamiya this morning, Arakamiya Grant, sorry, this morning, which went B3. But here white goes D5 immediately. And normally, I think black would play Knight A5. This is would be the normal line. Black played the slightly more passive Knight B8. Knight B4, Knight BD7, B3, A5, Bishop B2, Knight C5. This is yeah, fine. It's been a little bit slow from black, but decent. Oh, sorry, pressing the wrong buttons here. Knight C3, E5, takes en passant, takes A3, E5, and Knight DB5. And we've talked about this actually in King's Indian positions before. This knight can be very awkward for black because it stops black from going C6. So black never gets control over this square, which is, you know, a nice outpost for the white pieces. Thanks very much, Shivant. Have a good sleep. So Knight E8 was played by black, obviously looking for C6 there. And now white's gone really for the full attack, C5. So really doing everything to prevent black from going C6. And this is actually quite awkward.
So black can't take there because of the queen.
The queen on D8 is hanging. This bishop is across the diagonal here. And obviously a move like A takes B4, oops, A takes B4, A takes B4, Knight takes B4, A takes B4, A takes B4, and Knight takes B4. Oh, well, never mind. Knight takes B4, you see what I mean?
Rook on A8.
Lose the rook on A8. And also there's Queen B3 check as well. So it really is losing in lots of different ways there.
So this looks pretty promising for white then.
Yeah, King H8 was played to get out of the diagonal. But yeah, this looks very pleasant for white. White's really got a big advantage here, I think. What would white play now? We could just take on D6. That's definitely a possibility. We could play, I mean, something like Knight D5 is interesting as well. And if C6, then I could play, if C6, then I could play the knight round to B6, for example. That's one possibility. Yeah, I mean, white's got loads of good possibilities here. I think white's doing very well here. Let's keep on going. We've got what
about Katarzyna Toma?
Oh, you're right. I must have missed her there. Indeed.
Playing Topeka Aurora.
Yeah, so an Aurora is one person who's playing both the tournaments, the women's and the championship. But I think white has lost a piece. Oh no, sorry, rook takes c2. Sorry, it was white to move. That's fine. Let's have a look. What is happening here? Straight away, you still think, ooh, is this rook a bit loose? But it's defended by the knight on b3, so that's going quite well. In principle, black is doing quite nicely here, but it's not going to be easy to make something of this. I'm just wondering whether we can actually already go on the attack, actually. Let me just get an analysis board up. I mean, the first move that you think of really is to go knight b4 here, looking to get a knight onto d3. Now, it looks like it might lose something, because you could take, and go bishop d6, but then you could take, and go rook c8. Oops, rook c8. Which might be a little bit awkward. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe not amazingly awkward. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of possible. Would we have something better for black? I mean, we could take the knight, then take back the bishop. I could try and unbalance stuff by taking with the bishop. Obviously, the dark squares are then a little bit weak, but I mean, I could try and do this. The idea is if HG, I go knight b4. You know, I just want to try and this rook here is a little bit awkward, and I've got this d3 square as well. Yeah. The big problem though is that we've got this f3 move, and the knight on e4 is in some trouble. So I don't imagine that you can really get away with something like this. It's a bit too risky. I mean, we could go knight g5. We could just go play a move like bishop e7, maybe. That's possible. I'm just threatening knight b4, but then we could play rook c2, you know, and it's why I wanted to play knight b4 ready, you know, to stop white from playing a quick rook c2. This is looking absolutely fine for white. I think it's just an equal position. I thought maybe black has some tactical way of doing something, but I don't think black does. So yeah, going to be a tough one to make something of this, I think, with black, but we'll see what Katarzyna comes up with. We can look at the winner, I think, of the women's qualifiers, Julie O.
Julie O against Declan Shafi, who qualified, in the Open.
Indeed. So we've got another one of these winners with Queen a5 to a4. Now, I'm actually wondering, didn't Poisonous Mushroom have a game against... was this Poisonous Mushroom had a game in the qualifiers?
Oh, the position looks familiar. Was it her?
I'm wondering, because I think she wasn't much worse. And
she didn't play Queen g4?
No, she went. She played knight f3.
Okay. I don't remember if it was her or not, to be honest. But yeah,
no, I'm not sure.
I remember the game.
I think it was. But anyway, bishop a6 takes. The thing is that the course of the game is actually quite similar here. So you know, I'm just.
Fisher v Hook. It's the crowd. Waldsman Driffield is saying.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Fisher v Hook. What? Sorry. You mean the variation? Yes. Okay. Queen a5, Queen a4. Yes. Named after a guy called Hook. Funny enough, who which country did he play for? It was one of the was it Bermuda that he played for? I think it was in the Olympiad, but he played the system quite a bit. So Queen e1, knight bc6, bishop e3. Yeah, I think I would have preferred normally maybe to put the knight on d7 just to be able to avoid committing the pawn. Bishop e3. I mean, Queen c4 would also have been interesting there, but black's really going for the
Islands.
Black's really going for the full solid here with c4. Knight h4. I might have wanted to play the queen to a4 first of all. But black went castles and white went a4 now, which I think is a useful move, you know, just to stop the queen from getting active and tying a white piece down to c2. And rook dg8 now. Quite a complicated position, this one. But white is not doing badly, I don't think. Black is threatening to play g5 at some stage. So that's one thing we have to deal with. I don't know whether I don't feel particularly like a grandmaster when I suggest a move like f4. But the one thing is that this bishop can actually move through c1 to a3. So, putting a pawn on f4 here, and blocking the bishop in behind the pawn chain, that's not so bad. And I've also got the threat of playing f5 as well. So
you're absolutely right, by the way. Poisonous Mushroom did play this line before against Lara in the women's qualifier.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, and Lara's was
knight f3 here, yeah.
Yeah, Lara's much better, and then lost a piece in the middle game. Just got these two very powerful knights on e4 and f4, but unfortunately got it trapped. Got one of the knights to a rook d4. So it was very unfortunate that loss, but obviously very good for Poisonous Mushroom. Let's have a look. Who haven't we seen yet? We haven't seen Hack Attack or Thomas Villiers.
Oh yes, let's check in on Hack Attack.
They must have.
His name isn't Hack Attack on. His name is E4 Ever.
That's right, indeed. That's a little bit strange. Clock times are very odd there. Because they've only played 3 moves, and Thomas got 42 minutes, and the opponent's got 51. So.
Don't know.
Very odd. Okay. Well, we'll see what's going to happen there.
Maybe they've been moving their bishop and knight back and forward several times to gain time on the clock.
Could be. Let's have a look. We got Rock Troll against GM Michael Adams.
Ah, yes. Let's see.
Let's go back to this one. So, because I think we've seen virtually all the games. We haven't looked at Alan Tate yet. But we'll make sure we catch up with him again. But let's have a look at Michael Adams. Who is better here and why? I think that Black has got a very pleasant position here. This knight on g5. White is in a sort of position where something has got to work now, and you've got to have a good active possibility here, because if you don't, then Black's just going to play h6, drive the knight back to h3, Queen will take on h4, that sort of thing. So if I was White here, I would be looking at something a bit dramatic. Don't ask me what yet. I haven't worked that out, but I'd really be looking for for a move that gets stuff moving, really. Now there are a few possibilities. Is that ever going to work? What I'm looking at. Well, let's have a look at a few possibilities. If you want to be dramatic. D5 is one idea. So obviously the idea is that h6, I can just go knight e6. Oh, actually, I do need an analysis board for this. Otherwise, crazy. So d5 is one idea. Now, what I'm a little bit worried about is e5 from Black. So I guess I put my bishop back to h2.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the path of f4. But this is not so stupid. I'm threatening. I could have a move like b3, for example. That could be a threat, and e5 is hanging. So there are tactical threats. The question is, are they really good enough? If I play a move like queen f6 now for Black. Nice consolidating move. Just h6 is going to come in, but we're just making sure that we can get a pawn on e6 straight away. Maybe we could do a move like rook fd1 here.
Yeah.
And if you go h6, I'll throw in knight e6, takes, and knight d5. But I don't think I don't think I'm brimming with compensation there, really. I've got some play here because these black pieces are a little bit awkward, but I'm not 100%. And I'm actually wondering whether a move like, could you do this? No, bishop d2, we've got rook takes.
You take on c4. Yeah.
That would be good. So we can't do that. rook fd1, but I suppose black could maybe consolidate a bit more, maybe play rook fd8 or something. We want to play b3 at some stage. Or maybe d6 we want to play. Then just try and get a knight into d5. That's not so stupid. I mean, d5 is definitely, you know, that's quite an attractive move to play in a way. If you go bishop c3, I might play rook c3. I might play d takes c6. I don't know whether that works or not properly.
D takes c6, and then what if bishop b2?
I go rook d1 then, and
okay. Yes,
that probably does work quite okay. So I would have thought e5, bishop h2. Yeah, this shouldn't be so stupid. I mean, another idea, I could try b3, because where is this knight going? I mean, if I go to a normal square, then white will have knight takes b5. So I probably should go to a3. And now this bishop on c3 is hanging, and now I'd really need a good move here somehow. I want to. Wait a minute. Oh yes, I'm going to play d5. That's what I'm going to play. You're going to be amazed at this, Natasha.
I am amazed. d5. Okay, so yeah, take on c3.
It's not going to work.
Okay, but we move our rook.
Yeah, then we go queen h5, and h6. I've got queen g6.
You're playing just like Rock Troll does.
Indeed.
This could all happen.
It could all happen. The one problem is that in this position, black will play h6 early, but I mean, I could. I'm actually, come to think of it, I am actually picking up this this knight here, so it's not the end of the world. But I'm probably ending up a pawn down or something. So, but it's worthy of investigation, this idea, because.
So how did it all go again? You were doing a.
I went b3 here.
B3.
Knight a3 to keep b5 protected was the idea.
And then d5.
Then d5 there. Let's just have a little look. I mean, the other move you could play is rook c3, which might be. But I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at stuff like, for example, you know, takes here, d takes e6, bishop somewhere, and rook d1, and then I'm going to go bishop d6 afterwards. You know, and this knight on a3 is hanging. So
maybe Nicky would not put his knight onto a3.
Well. The problem is, where does that knight go? Because if you go to b6, for example, I take on b5. So, you know, that's kind of...
yeah, well, say you swap whatever off and then go h6 at the end.
Sorry, what are you saying? Bishop c3?
So you could say you went back to b6, like... and then you take that. So what about h6 now? Yeah,
I mean, that is possible. That is definitely possible. I guess I'll go... Am I going knight h3, or have I got something cleverer and meaner? I don't think so. I think I've got knight h3.
And then can we just, like, take on h4?
That's... Yeah, I could take on a7, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not sure how much attack you've got here, really. You know, I go back to g3 a tempo. I've got e5 as well. I think this is very unclear, really. I mean, I think knight a3, that feels to me like the move you really want to do.
Okay.
Just because this knight on c3 is awkward. But but I could very easily be wrong, of course. Okay, d5. And we're saying bishop c3. Well, I mean, I can just go de first. Why not? I mean, this is quite awkward, actually. Here, rook d1. This is not trivial.
a5.
Queen a5. Okay, I'll go...
this one again. Bishop d6.
Bishop d6. Go rook f6, maybe. I don't know, bishop e5. I'm just feeling a bit nervous with black. You know, just... you know, with these pieces are just... yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say. I mean... because, of course, if you... If you do manage to get, if you get yourself, maybe you could play b4 and get yourself properly consolidated, then this might be awkward. But I don't know. I mean, I could do something. I can go rook d7 or something, you know. And if you take, I'll have a knight e6. I've got a queen h5. I really, I think I like this move b3 actually. I really do. What else did I have? Did I have any other more ideas with white actually? I was vaguely wondering about knight b5 actually. That was
okay. Takes.
And then either queen h5 first or knight e6 there. And then the idea is I'm going to take on f8, and I'm going to have. Well, I mean, I'm not quite sure about the move order, but you know, I could play a move like a4. This is the idea. And then if you go bishop a6, then I go b3, and there's this. I'm actually winning the piece back because of this pin.
What if I go knight e3?
Knight e3, then I go queen a6, and I've got this one here, which I think is going to be quite nasty. Oh, go on, let's show it then. Takes here, and then what do we do, Natasha?
Are we doing a knight f7? We
certainly are. Obviously, if takes, I take there.
Yeah.
And obviously, let's do it for the crowd because it's always nice to see them.
Yeah, you have to put each one in each session.
Whack.
Queen g8, knight f7.
So yeah, I mean, b3 is interesting there, I think. And knight b5 is also interesting. I mean, the one thing I was wondering about, you know, if I go a4, bishop a6, if you go b3, then queen d5 sort of keeps control of everything.
Yeah.
But maybe in that position, you know, I can just go. I don't go b3. I just go knight e6 or something. Queen somewhere and knight f8. It's a little bit awkward, you know, a little bit awkward for black. But you know, there's these diagonals. It's very unclear, you know. But I think there's a lot of ideas. So what has Rock Troll actually done? Rock Troll went b3. Ooh.
Okay.
But after knight a3, played queen b2. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
So now you wanted d5 here.
I wanted d5 here.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's any good, of course. So I mean, let's. But this is now a position where white's black, where Mickey's in total control now. In a way, you know, I sort of think that white had to do something aggressive at that moment, or just suffer for eternity. And we've played d5 now, and Mickey's gone back to f6. And yeah, look at that one. This is really bad now.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to last very long now. I think Mickey's going to win in short order. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this was, if there was a move, then this was a decent one. But whether it was any good or not is unclear, of course. You know, I've no real idea on that. But it looks promising to me anyway. Okay, so that looks like Michael Adams is doing his stuff as always. We haven't looked at what happened with Mark. Oh well, Black's managed to. So Black did play a5. My guess, correct. I must be top guesser by now, way ahead of Natasha.
I haven't been guessing, but I was top guesser in the afternoon.
Indeed. So yeah, now Mark played a4, which is very solid. You know, sort of cementing that knight on b5. Yeah, it's just you sort of think, oh, it would have been nicer to keep on going somehow, if you know what I mean. Because yeah, this move a4. Oh, good lord, sorry, mustn't do that. Bishop g4, knight e5 from Mark. Takes. Knight e4, bishop d4, queen c6. Takes, rook d1. I mean, this is a very small edge for white now. It's not very much at all for white. Probably Mark will be happy because
he'll be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, look at his clock, 45 against 25. That's what
he knows
Mark
what he's doing in this position.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, no, I mean, he'll be happy. It's just I wonder whether there was more than a5, whether you could really try and do something extra. But okay, that's. I think Mark's got his position. He's happy with it. So there we are.
Bogdan's game did start in the end, so we could check it out.
Oh, good. Let's have a look. Let me get Bogdan playing Sean the Prawn. B unit as white. Yeah, this is look how fast Sean the Prawn is playing.
Near theory.
But however, this is an astonishingly good position for Bogdan, I have to say. You've clamped down on the c5 break, the bishop behind it, and look at the king's side. You've got this beautiful f5 square for the bishop. So, I mean, in a way, I'm slightly surprised. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, black's played e5 now. Ooh, that's really. I think white's just going to play bishop f5. Yeah, I mean, bishop f5 is just the move.
It'd be interesting to see how Bogdan does in this tournament. He's a really, really fine player, and he sometimes will take a draw too early, in my view.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, when he, you know, I remember when he came over in 91, 92, he was a fantastic player, super fast, super booked up, you know, quite nervy somehow, but played with a lot of power and confidence. And I remember losing a very sharp theoretical rook b1 Grunfeld against him, where he marched his a-pawn all the way down. And, you know, I mean, the speed he was playing at was incredible, simply. You know, it was very off-putting. But somehow, you know, once you know what you expect, of course, it's always the same. When you know what you expect, even if somebody's playing quickly, you say, oh, well, Bogdan plays quickly, so you don't worry about it, you know. And I think, you know, gradually people got used to him and he got a little bit neutralized. And obviously, you know, at the moment he's suffering with his rating and everything, but he still is a very fine player.
Oh, yeah, extremely.
And certainly over the board, if you play him, he's rated, I think, 2420, 2430 over the board. That's not very good value, you know, because you're facing somebody who's extremely well prepared, who's a good technician, you know. Yeah, I mean, a very good player, but simply, yeah, just has some, I suppose you say, some problems of.
You know, he knows so much stuff, but he always thinks his opponents know it all. Because I just remember him telling me about David. He was playing a game against David Coleman. And he said, David Coleman, he knows everything about the Sicilian. And he just took this very quick draw with David Coleman, who on paper is a lot weaker, because he was scared of his kind of opening knowledge.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's I mean, knowing too much is a danger, you know, because then you can't actually conceive that your opponent doesn't understand something.
Yes, because David knew the position up to a certain point. He kind of assumed he'd know it. He knew it all the way.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, study can be very useful, but it can also be quite. It can also harm your confidence. Funny enough, you know, knowing a lot about stuff. Yeah. It's one of those things that makes.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that makes. That makes. Studying and improving so difficult. You know, you can actually doing work can actually ruin your game as well. You know, it's.
They say when you learn something new, it's always a few months before you actually improve, and at first you're kind of getting a little bit weaker while you're still absorbing that new stuff.
That's true. I mean, I think that's probably, it's not always true, I think, but definitely it can definitely happen, especially if the stuff that you've learned is new, complicated, takes you out of your comfort zone. It takes a while before everything settles in your head again. You know, you knew how you played before. You've learned something disruptive, and then you've got to give it a space. And because I mean, I had this experience when I studied with Mark Dvoretsky for a few weeks in Russia, the great Russian trainer, and I left with my head buzzing, full of things. But I was very hard to really find the essence of it and apply it practically.
Yeah.
But
in the end, it did help. Yeah.
In the end, I went up 100 elo, you know, just because of that, of what I'd learned there. But it was, I mean, that really brought me into, you know, 2650 plus. That was really, and Mickey Adams has beaten Rock Troll there.
Okay.
So, oh my goodness, look at that final position. The rook on attacking the queen, and the queen is trapped.
Queen's trapped on C1. Oh dear.
Well, the only move you've got actually is bishop c7, but that bishop is not going to last long.
No.
So
Wow.
a very smooth win. A very smooth win from Wiki. But although I think that White did have just a moment where there were some chances, I think. But who knows? That was. Let's have a look. Who haven't we looked at for a while?
Matthew Turner. We haven't looked for a little while.
Oh, Matthew Turner. You are absolutely right. Mat 64 against Twills. So that was the opening. And this is the result. That is a, I was going to say a small edge for White. It might be rather more than that. Because how on earth is Black going to defend that pawn on G4? The answer could be that Black isn't going to defend that pawn on G4. Well, not 100% clear. So the general point is if Rook G8.
Hack attack. Hack attack is back.
Oh, what? Did
you win, Tom?
You're still playing, according to. but something's gone wrong with the board, I think.
Win by default.
Win by default. Okay.
Your opponent not show.
Okay, fantastic. Right. Oh, so obviously something funny happened there with the board, because that was it was very confusing, wasn't it? That was really odd. Well done, Hack Attack. You did what you had to do. You were there, and you got the point. So well played. Let's have a look. Where were we? We were. I was looking at
Turner and Twills.
Indeed, and we were going to move on to, yes, indeed. Rook d8, that's a good move. So the big problem is if you go something like Rook g8, then I'm just going Rook dh1, and you can't defend everything. But Rook f8 has been played. No, not that one. So Black getting the rooks out of the way. But I think if we just go Bishop g1 here for White, then how are we going to defend it? Because we're attacking those two, aren't we? Bishop g1. Let's bring up an analysis board. I think that Matthew Turner's kind of doing the business here, I think. So Bishop g1. And then how is Black going to defend this one? Come on. This one and this one. That's a good question, isn't it? Not going to be easy, but I think probably what Black should do is go Bishop e3 here. That would be quite a natural move. So what's going to happen here? If Rook g4, I will take and go Rook f2.
Yeah.
And I'm going to claim that I've got compensation, which I probably do actually. I mean, I'm coming around with knight a5 to c4. So Bishop e3. What could we do about Bishop e3? Could I take off Rook g4? And we'll go Rook f2, I guess. Now, is there a way for White to do something? Well, it's actually the sort of the point where you start wondering, who is actually better in this in this position, because
you don't want to allow both these rooks in on the 7th.
Not particularly, no. Yeah, I'm a bit clueless, to be honest. I'm not quite sure what you do here. I mean, you can go something like Rook g1, and I could go Rook d3 then, or I just go Knight a5. This is no, actually, I think Bishop e3, and I think Twills is doing quite well there. So do we have? Maybe we have something else, not Bishop g1.
What about Rook? Oh no. Rook F1.
Okay,
it seems like pinning yourself there.
Knight h1. Well, Knight h1. How about that?
All right, Rook e2.
I take on h6 then.
Yeah, okay. All right, then. Have to move the bishop then.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do the same. I was hoping I could go bishop g3 simply, this sort of thing, avoid it and leave the bishop on there. But I think black can go bishop f4 in that position, and we're just going to get pretty much the same thing. I go rook g4, you take. I can go rook g3, rook e2, and this knight is covering this one, but I don't know. Hard to believe that this could be anything at all, and we still got knight
still bring the knight round, yeah.
And we can go b3 to stop it, but I don't know. It's hard to believe this is anything serious. But I think Matt's gonna have to go for this actually, because he's gone bishop e1. Okay, that might be better. That might be better. That definitely is better than anything I've suggested so far. What are we going to do here? I could take and take here. Take bishop d2 doesn't work or anything. Would be nice if it did. I mean, I'm looking at bishop e3, rook g4. Oops, bishop e3. Oh, we need the analysis board. Bishop e1, bishop e3, rook g4, bishop f2 is possible. But then we might go bishop d2 there. I mean, we could just go rook g8 then, actually, couldn't we? Bishop g5. Oh, bishop g5, bishop e3, and you're pinned here. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I think here we're back into pretty much the same business as we had before.
Yeah.
I think Matt's going to find this very difficult to very, very difficult to
keep the rooks out of the center.
Yeah, if black plays well there. So bishop e3 I think would be quite decent.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, interesting. Let's have a look. We've seen there horsey chess against Wadsworth.
Oh yes.
Well, that's a pretty even position, really. Who would I prefer? Well, if I'm not getting my bishop trapped, then I prefer white, maybe. I think so. You feel white's got just a little bit more. White's queenside majority should get running a little bit earlier than black's kingside majority, but it should be about even. But Zoe finally so far playing a very decent move there, a very decent game, and playing fast on the clock as well. So yeah, I mean, very good play so far against one of the top seeds. Oh,
which one's this?
Oh, this is William Claridge Hampson. So he didn't. You were saying maybe he learnt the he
learnt the minority attack with a4 b5.
Absolutely not. Look at what he did here.
He learned from alpha 0. Just attack.
Queen d7, bishop h6, rook fd8, rook takes h5.
Oh, fantastic!
Look at that. So
does it work? If you take, so you're just going in queen g5.
You're just going queen g5. That's right. So yeah.
What if bishop takes bishop?
So queen g5 there. Bishop takes bishop. We just take with a rook, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe even taking with a queen and then rook e5. I'm not sure, but taking with a rook is good. So black played f5 here, and now
how is this? This is messy.
This is very messy. So the idea is that the queen can defend across here. So you are actually threatening to take on h5 and then you've got e6 or something to defend. So well, there were a few interesting ideas here. I mean, was queen g5 possible?
Queen g5. Okay.
Possible. Not sure. But, let's have a look at what white takes. This was looks quite dangerous.
Okay, so bishop and 2 rooks on freeze at the moment.
Indeed, f takes e4. So what are we going to do here? We are going to play.
I was looking at queen h6. Yeah.
I guess
the other rook. He's given up both rooks. Wasn't there a book called Take My Rooks?
There was indeed.
Maybe that's what we've been reading.
Nikolai Minev. This is not so clear because if I go Queen G6, which looks sort of decisive, then there's Queen G4. So that is not perfect. Anything else after Queen H6, G8?
White to play here. Yeah, move the bishop back.
Yeah, we'll go Queen G4 again, and we're covering everything very nicely there. So I reckon we need something better than this.
Okay. So what about Rook H8?
I mean, King F7 is possible, but let's take there. Queen H6. Just wondering. So this would actually lose, I think. We go Rook H7.
Yeah.
Well, would it actually King E6, Queen E4, King D5? Yeah, we've got Rook H5 check there. Well, E5. I've got Queen E4 check, which would be winning, you know, here and here. Yeah. But actually, after Rook H5, we could go King D4 here.
You've been playing too much shogi.
Indeed, we've got Queen G7. It's in shogi this would be possible, but not in chess. So that actually works. So maybe Queen H6 check. We should go King F6 only move.
And then
what?
And then.
Well,
just Rook H7. Nice and quiet.
Yeah, I mean, Rook H7 is possible. Just leaving black with the choice. I'm wondering whether we can go Queen G5 check. But I suppose there we go King G7, and you won't have any more. I know. Then we got Queen E5 check. This is very strong. Here and Rook mate. So
that looks good then.
Yeah. So King F6, Queen G5 check.
Yeah.
King E6 then, or King F7. Well, King F7, Rook H7 must be strong. So King E6 only move. Queen G6. Oh, this might just be winning actually. Yes, it's going to be winning. This is the same line.
This is a nice attack, isn't it, from William?
Golly, so let's have a look. So Rook H8 check. So King F7 could be the move, unfortunately. But I think then we can maybe throw in a Rook H7 and just say
Queen F4.
Then we've got Queen F5. Then we've got Queen F5. That's not worried about. Queen F4, Queen F5. But I would guess King F7, Rook H7 would be quite... I mean, I don't know. E takes D3 and then, you know, try and find a move. But I suppose Bishop C3 check would be winning. So, and yeah, if you go King G7, then we go check. King F6, Queen G5 check. And the key idea here is that King G7, we've got this Queen E5 check idea, which, you know, just seems to be winning. And if Queen G5 check, and if King E6, then this does seem to be just mate in actual fact. E5, Queen E4 check, King D6, Queen E5.
Very nice.
So we're claiming a win for William. So let's have a look how that plays out. Oh, he went Bishop B2.
Okay.
That is also
what about taking the rook?
Yeah, no, that is winning actually as well. Because this could be even stronger than what I was looking at. So where were we? So Bishop B2. We go if GH, we go Queen G5 check, King F7, Queen check, King E6. We go Queen G6 check. King D5, we go Queen E4 check, King D6, and we go Queen E5 mate.
Nice.
So it's actually working. It's actually working. So actually, this could be
Queen G4.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got to be a little bit careful here because GH is the threat. But I think if we just go Rook G5 here, then Queen E6, I don't know, Queen C3, something like this.
Yeah,
it looks incredibly good. This could be one of the brilliant games of the tournament here. I'm just wondering, is there? Can I? Doesn't make a difference, does it? No. Just trying to. Yeah, no. I mean, these lines really do seem very good. I suppose what. Well, I mean, I'm wondering something like Queen E6, for example. But I mean,
Queen H6. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Rook E5. So I don't know. I mean, it's looking really, really good. I mean, this looks really strong. So, and look how far ahead White is on the clock as well. So, a brilliant.
It's probably trying to work out a defense. It's not easy.
Indeed.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Let's have a little look. What do we got?
Daniel Fernandez, we haven't seen for a while.
Oh, you're right. Actually, I think there was. Oh, that's Black has just won there. In actual fact,
okay.
A knight fork of the Queen and King,
yes.
ending the game there. So Daniel Fernandez moves to 1 out of 1. Ameet Ghasi we haven't looked at for a while, so this game's proceeding quite slowly. Just 17 moves played. Who is better and why? It's kind of well, Black is not going to be dissatisfied with this position. I think it's not too bad for White, but probably a little bit better for Black. I think if you go Bishop C2, let me just pull up an analysis board. If we go, sorry, what? Sorry, am I seeing this right?
Oh, why would you play C3?
Yeah, it was no, indeed. This was it was Black to move. Yeah, because after Bishop. Yeah, actually, why would you do that? Actually, Bishop D3, E4. You've got Bishop C4 check. I mean, there might be a trap, but would this really work? F takes E4. I can go Queen A2 check. Obviously, Rook F7. I've got Knight takes E5. But King H8. I mean, this is not going to be anything, right? I mean, you just go Bishop F6.
That's a bit strange.
I'm not crazy, am I? No, I'm not crazy. I mean, this is just it just looks like a oops. It just looks like a blunder of a piece, I think.
Maybe he thought he was losing a piece anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is to go Knight G5.
Okay. Where was the Queen before?
What do you mean? Where's the Queen?
Where was the Queen before it went to A2?
E2. E2.
Could you do that Knight G5 then with your Queen still on E2?
D2.
Oh, D2. No, that's less exciting.
So I could go Knight G5. I mean, the idea is if Bishop F6, I'll go DE, and then Queen E5, I'll go Knight F7. But I mean, you've got to say that even this would probably be quite. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be bad for Black, and would probably you should probably find some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bishop E6. I mean, White can cause a little bit of chaos with with something like this. But I mean, you've got Queen C3 takes C3, 2 bishops. You'd always think this was good. So I wonder what this was all about actually. So F takes C4. No, actually, White just went Knight takes C5. Huh? And Bishop D7? No. What's happening here? I can't believe this. I mean, why wouldn't White play Bishop? Why wouldn't Black play Bishop E6 here?
I don't know.
I mean, why would you? I don't understand at all.
We'll call them on after and get them to explain themselves.
Yeah, because I mean, Black's going to have to be very careful now. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I can't believe Ameet would miss bishop e6. He's he's a really good player. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what's happening there. That's mystery. A mystery in mouse slip. Maybe.
It would have to be both sides doing mouse slips, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
How about, have we seen Harry Grieve yet?
We have not. You're quite right.
Let's see Harry Grieve and Alex Goss.
And Alan Tate we haven't seen yet either.
I didn't manage to find his username, so...
okay. But he's playing... Oh, okay, yes.
That was the only game where I didn't find either player's username.
If anyone
probably will know. Alan Tate or Jem Gurner, if you know their chess.com name, then we'll have a check-in on that one too.
So what is this position? Harry Grieve is white, knight blockade is black. In principle, I guess white should be doing quite well. Just this knight's extremely strong. So if the black rook gets active, then it could be nasty. But I think what Harry's going to do is he's going to go king g3. He's going to go h4, and I think his king is going to start moving up here. And I think that'll be difficult for black to hold that back. So I mean, maybe black now should actually play f5 in this position, I think. Just to try and make sure that that you get g5 in afterwards, that you don't let the white king come through there, and then afterwards you've always got possibilities of coming behind and giving perpetuals, that sort of thing. So I think, yeah, I mean, my guess would be f5. f5 has been played. Oh, I was correct, but I clicked on somewhere else. So f5 has been played. Not clear. I mean, in general, you sort of expect white to be able to do something, but this knight on f4 is so strong and the king is so weak there that maybe it's still even. I don't know. Let's have a look at B unit, who I think is about to claim victory.
Okay. Oh, Bogdan.
Because this is one of the most impressive positions I've ever seen. So I think knight h5 is the only move. But then I go queen g5, and I think we're just winning a piece there. So yeah, I expect Bogdan to win that very quickly. I mean, actually, there's apart from Daniel Fernandez and Mickey, the games are still very, very tight there.
Yeah. What about we'll check back in on William Claridge Hansen in a moment, see whether he.
Oh yeah, that's true. So well, Katarzyna did manage to make something of this position. So now clearly winning. Massive knight, rook, king, extra pawn or two, maybe. And this one's coming all the way down. So looks like Katarzyna's going to win that. William Claridge Hansen. Oh no, black hasn't played yet. Sorry, that's black is still thinking.
Oh, Danny says Alan Tate defaulted.
Okay.
Fine. That's good. That's good. I mean, that's not good. That's it means we shouldn't try that again.
Okay, that's a shame. He was going to be one of the 23-42. He was going to be one of the higher rated players there. So yeah, this is definitely the most brilliant game of the tournament so far, I think. So fingers crossed for William Claridge Hansen that he manages to finish this one off, because that would be a real candidate for a brilliancy prize. Let's have a look at Mark. How's Mark doing? Well, Mark's trundling along. 35 minutes against 8. I don't think you can say that white is better here, but of course, the time advantage will be quite important. Yeah, I mean, white's got this very solid knight on b5, and potentially, I mean, this pawn could be weak, but I mean, at some stage, black might simply play e4 and then knight d3. And and then I'm sort of wondering, what is white going to do in this position? I mean, if you sacrifice on d3, you can never be better. You know, it's just so I don't know. I think this is going to be a difficult one. Yeah, I think black goes e4 here, and
could you do like f4 and knight d4 and try and do something like f5?
You could do. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, we could. Let me just grab an analysis board there. If I go there, yeah, we could go do a knight d4, queen somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. Let's say here, and then f4. That would be a possibility. Just to trying to play f5 and stuff. You put the knight on d3, but the rook comes around here. It's possible. Yeah, that's
we might lose b2 though, I suppose.
You can probably defend it. I mean, I think if you go, let's say e4, f4, just to not give black any opportunity for that. I play the knight to d3, I go knight d4 then. Queen b6, I go rook d2 simply.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other rook will come over to f1 and we'll go f5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that might be right.
Yeah, get to g4. I could play f5. That's possible. But maybe you try and get your knight round to e1 but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's not very much anyway. You know, I mean, it really is not very much at all. I mean, I wonder whether. I mean, you might just with black play rook d7 and then try queen f6 and see what sort of weakness, you know, what you can do if you attack this pawn on b6. That might also be quite interesting. It's obviously quite tempting as well to leave the knight on c5, you know, just attacking this pawn on a4. Yeah. So, yeah, probably it would be best not to rush, not queen d7, just to play maybe rook d7 first of all. Get the rook to d8, maybe play b6, play the queen to f6, and then see whether you want to go e4 and knight d3. You know, that could be good as well. It's going to be a long one. Oh, Matthew Turner, how has he won a piece?
Oh.
So after bishop e1, black went bishop f4.
Because we were thinking Matthew would have a job in trying to keep those rooks out of the 7th.
Indeed, but he has actually won the game there. So
okay. I told you that he always does that. He just you think there's nothing much, and then suddenly he's just won.
Yeah, bishop f4 to d6 was probably not such a great move, I guess. We were thinking of bishop e3 to f2, which was maybe more active, I thought. This was not silly at all, but after rook g5, rook g8 takes, rook d3, I guess somehow black's consolidated a bit, but still not over. Knight e7, knight g6, knight f5, knight f4, and then rook g3. And this was the problem. This might have been a move that the black missed here. The point being that
intermezzo being knight takes d.
I go bishop here, there. I can probably take on here, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I just take on here and go king d2, and the knight on g2 is trapped.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So yeah, and after that, then black's always going to be in a bit of trouble. I think he went rook e8, bishop d2, rook e2, but then we got takes, and king d1. And if rook f2, then bishop e3, and bishop e3. No, what do you do? Actually, was there rook e? Maybe g8 check to f8.
Oh, yeah.
It was very good. It was very good for white anyway. Sorry, I've overwritten the game there, game window, but it was certainly very good for white there. So Matt Turner does the business. Oh, Ameet Ghasi has won actually.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, just a bit strange. Rook f7, queen d6, rook f1, and then bishop e6. So forking these two, and white resigned. A very strange game, that one. Maybe I think Tom was right that bishop d7 was just a mouse slip. I think that's possible.
Okay, yeah.
But Ameet Ghasi moves to 1. So far, no shocks.
Yeah.
Idle player, Oscar Idle lost there to
Chopra.
Indeed. Yeah, Queen H7 coming in there. Yeah, I mean, White had quite a powerful position here and played E4. And yeah, these knights, they're great if they're stopping E4. If they don't succeed, they're awful because, you know, obviously E4 to E5 can come in. So, yeah, that's hard luck, Oscar, but good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Julia Volovich.
Oh, Julia Volovich. Let's have a look. Well, let's have a look. This is quite a typical Benoni type structure. In principle, well, that knight on C7 is not very good. And White's pieces are
really have much
White's
squares.
pieces. No, White's
Only
pieces
A8,
are,
and then you can't come out from there, really.
yeah, but White's pieces are a little bit cramped like that. So it's a swings and roundabouts one, I think. Probably I would look with White, I think, to maybe go rook E1, bishop F1, try and swap off a few pieces just to give myself a bit more space. Because, you know, there's stuff like knight E4 coming in, and then G4 could come in. So I think you really want to have a little bit more space and swap off a few pieces. And, you know, try and exchange off every other black minor piece except for this one, basically. You know,
Yes, good idea. Yeah.
That would be the idea.
Julie O against Declan Shafi.
Poisonous mushroom. Ooh, what is happening here? This could be... I'm just wondering here. I mean, it's possible that this just wins on the spot for black. Because... so we could take, oops. Then we take, and here. Oops. I mean, it's not forced to do this. We can maybe get our pieces even better before, but this might be very, very strong indeed for black.
Okay, we've got past A pawn.
Then we come here.
There.
And after here, we come here. And you're not going to be able to stop.
Oh, very nice.
So could be. I mean, it could be winning. In any case, that's the long-term threat. Yeah, you either do it now or you improve your position. Although I don't know, I mean, bishop c7 is maybe a sort of a threat. So maybe I think it would be the right moment just to do this and go b5. And that looks well. Actually, come to think of it, king b5. What if black? What if white goes bishop a3 here?
Yeah, you come in. You're coming in. You'd still have to get your king out the way again.
Yeah. So just trying to think which ones are winning here. Would that be winning? I would have thought so. I mean, we can go king a4, bishop b2, knight b4. Is this winning? Certainly looks quite dangerous. Here, 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 and here. Oh, king e3. Oh, maybe it's maybe it's not quite quite there. I mean, you could and your plan could be you could also bring the knight around a7 to b5. It's a little bit slow. Here, 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 here. This is quite quite impressive. The question is, how do we break through after? I mean, one thing that we could maybe do. I don't know, play for f6. That's possible. or no, I think what we do actually is we go knight here, and we go knight round here. We go knight round here. We go knight round here. And then I think that what we can do, we could probably bring the king round here.
Where's the king going?
Where's the cue ball going?
Yeah.
And I want to play f6. And then I'm not quite sure when I want to do this, but f takes e5.
Yeah.
And then I will just go knight g7 round to e6. And then I'll play my king round to here. And then I'll just go f4. And this will be winning. Obviously it's a rather long variation, but I would have thought that that this sort of break would be winning. You could also, if you want to do it even better, you could try and knight a7 and just play b5 straight away there. So king g2, you go b5, and if takes, you're straight away playing knight b5. That's probably a few moves quicker.
Oh yes, this looks
yeah.
easier.
I mean, this should just be winning for black. Oh, there we are. This is. Oh yeah, something like this happened in actual fact. Yeah, he went. Yeah, that's what he did actually. He went knight a7, and then b5 takes, and knight takes c3, and that means that Declan Shaffi is going to go to 1 point as well.
Okay.
Yeah, B Eunice has won. Bogdan Lalic has won, as expected.
How about Jonathan Blackburn against Jude Shearsby?
So, oh yeah, that was an interesting one, wasn't it? Queens and pawns. Here we are. Gunslinger 222. Well, Gunslinger's doing very well there. Exchange up, and 3 pawns, 2 pawns, and 3 pawns, and big pass pawn as well. So that looks like Jonathan Blackburn is going to go to 1 out of 1 as well.
Okay.
Chess Queen against Katoma. Katoma's doing pretty well there. Soon going to be a win there as well. Let's have a look. William Claridge Hansen. So Black has vaguely managed to escape there. So he went rook f8, queen h6, queen g7, queen g6, queen e4. I mean, very sensible from White, in all fairness. Just bishop e5 check, king tied down, rook h7, and f4. This is just completely winning for White. White king is invulnerable, and the black king is very weak, and you're just going to, start moving your range. So this should just be a win there. So Black's playing a5, just trying to get a little bit of counterplay there. So always there's always some sort of stuff that that the opponent can do to get his position going, but I'd expect William to win this. To win this in due course, that must be very, very strong.
Zoe Varney against Matthew Wadsworth.
Oh yeah, let's have a look. Wadsy 27, I think. Well, the game is continuing there. Yeah. Zoe's still got her bishop over there. That makes me a little bit nervous, but it's still fine for the moment. Actually, got to watch out for this g4 pawn, actually, because rook e4 is coming in. How are we going to protect that one? I suppose you could play a rook e5 or something like that. But yeah, you can always play rook e5, of course. So we could go rook g5, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, Black's. I mean, all White's pawns are on dark squares, so I think that's Black's claim for a slight advantage. You're just going to claim that those pawns are all weak, but it should be possible for White to to bring the rook back into play and then start moving those pawns forward. And well, I mean, White should be completely fine in this position, but it's the pressure of playing against a strong player who's going to play for many, many moves to beat you. So yeah, going to be interesting, that one. Grieve against knight blockade. Funnily enough, look at knight blockade. Oh, this has gone very, very well for so white hasn't dared to grab any pawns there, and well, now this is actually looking quite serious. Is it looking serious? Well, it could all go wrong for black. Just if this rook can get active, then it could be very unpleasant. But I think it's been quite clever of white to attack this pawn on f5. So if ever the rook goes away, then you automatically give your king some squares to escape to. And it's not going to be so easy for black to defend it, because there's sort of moves like rook d6 to disrupt. But black playing very nicely here, and Harry Grieve, a very strong player, and under a little bit of pressure there from Alex Goss.
Hi, Hasban from the Ameet Ghasi game. Okay, that was the one where we thought we didn't understand some of the moves.
Okay, so that was okay. Cheap trick, queen a2. Okay, yeah, that's yeah. We couldn't quite understand what was happening there. So because Ameet played bishop d7, and so he presumed maybe he missed queen a2, or it was a mouse slip. He meant to move it to e6 and moved it to d7. But yeah, I thought maybe he should have taken the rooks on f8 first, and then gone knight f7 check. Harry, that's what I thought, because I thought then that it's a little bit awkward for the bishops, to keep everything closed. But yeah, it's such a shame you missed that tactic again at the end, that cheap trick. A bit of a shame, that one. But Ameet is very, very strong. So I mean, that was a tough first round match. Akatoma has indeed won. So has Declan Shafi rather. So we're starting to get some wins. Matt Turner has won. We saw that one already. Mark Hebden, how's that going? Well, Mark's got 29 minutes against 1, and he is a pawn up.
Okay.
Not an easy one to win, this one, I don't think, but he is a pawn up. How is white gonna improve here? It's not easy, because yeah, I mean, maybe white should be playing rook a1. Would this be the best idea? I go rook a1. The idea is rook c3. I want to go rook a7. When I'm getting my pieces active, and well, this should be quite good for me. But I'm guessing that after rook a1, maybe not. Could I play knight a4? That was what I was thinking, and just have knight take c3. I suppose I could play c4 then. And if I go something like f6 or whatever, then I go c takes b5. That would be good. So rook a1 looks like it might be a good move. Now, what I would want to do is to drive that knight away from there, actually. So
I go knight c4.
Knight c4. That is a move, definitely. What would I do there? Takes, and rook a3. Well, winning chances there are not looking so good. All right, yeah, no, knight c4 is a really good move, Natasha. That's a really good move. Yeah, because I mean, you're threatening knight e3 as well if white moves the knight away, quite apart from taking on here. So, ooh, dear me, how are you gonna win this one? How are you gonna make progress? Well, I guess what you can claim is that black, is it obvious for black? I mean, the thing is, black might be threatening to go knight c4 anyway. And, so for example, if I go king h2, there's an argument to be made for knight c4, rook b5. Well, actually, knight e3 even is possible.
Oh, yeah.
but f7 is hanging, so it's not so clear. But you could play this one and rook and 4 versus rook and 3.
Well, you could play that for a while.
You can play that for a while. I mean, black has got the good structure on the king side there, so in principle has little to fear. But yeah, I think that could be a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know what Mark's going to do here. I think probably rook and 4 versus rook and 3, you know, is kind of a dream as well, really. Because after king h2, I mean, I could just play a move like king f6, for example. And then I'm not quite sure. What are you doing? Knight d7, king e7, knight b6 maybe. Okay, knight d7 check. I'll go. I'll just go back to g7, and you know, I just want to go knight d3 to c5, to f4 rather. So, but I guess you could go something like knight b6. That's not bad. Knight d3, knight d5, and you cover all these squares. Yeah, you can try, you can grind, but it's a bit of a toughie, But of course, Mark's gone rook a1, and now the question is,
Okay.
is Black going to see?
Is he going to play rook knight c4?
Oh, no, sorry, he's gone king h2. He's gone king h2, which is indeed the move that I was looking at the end there. Yeah, I mean, knight c4. Is Black going to go knight c4 and go for the rook and 4 versus rook and 3? That would not be stupid at all. He's doing it. My goodness. So Mark's going to have to win rook and 4 versus rook and 3 to get on to
Okay.
one.
Well, that could be the last game going.
Indeed. So, oh, what happened there actually? F5. Oh, that was a very good move. So F5 was played. The idea being rook F5. Is
this William Claridge Hansen?
Yeah, that's right. So the idea was rook F5. I go rook H8 check, which would of course be very, very strong. So Black played queen takes A2, and then rook takes C7, and this is terminal now with rook C7 check coming in. Yeah, I mean, I do think rook F5 was definitely.
So
is there something really clever there, or?
And what were you saying? Sorry, you said rook H8 after that.
Yeah, I'm just. Oh no, maybe that was maybe the idea was even clever actually. If rook F5, because I was wondering about rook F5, rook H8 check, king D7, rook H8, rook E5. That didn't look that convincing, that. But I'm wondering actually.
You could go queen D4, couldn't you?
Yeah, but then you can go queen D5. Queen D4, queen D5, which is not
stupid.
No. Going rook E5 after. But I think actually the idea was to go rook E7.
Rook E7. Okay, queen E7. Oh, and then you take on F5.
Yeah, queen D7. Is this completely? It's not completely over, though it does look very strong.
Do you mean swap queens and queen your H pawn?
Well, actually, yeah, I think it works. I was just calculating it, but I think it works indeed. I think we go H5, king E7, H6, king E6, we go D4, and king F7, we go H7. Very elegant, very elegant, very, very good. What a great game. That one, we definitely have to make a note of that one. So queen takes B4 has been played there. And now, how are we going to finish this one off? Queen B4, that's quite a good defense, actually. Rook C7 check, that looks like the one. But look, a bit. Sorry, not getting onto the right analysis there. I mean, rook C7 looks more or less automatic. But what does Black do? King D8 looks the most natural. And then Queen E3, I think, would be the best move. Rook f5. It looks so desperate, this, but black's still vaguely surviving. Maybe I go queen f3 or something like that. Then I'm going to come around to h5. This must be winning. This must be winning. And William's got plenty of time. I mean, d4 is another idea here. Just to block out the queen, and then well, you're going to come around with the queen. Maybe go h5 and queen h4, for example.
Yeah, it looks so good, doesn't it? Because black can't coordinate the rooks and the king, really. No,
I mean, you play something like rook c8, for example. I just moved the rook over, and you're not able to challenge the 7th rank. So that's just going to be that is going to be huge. But black's putting up a good, a spirited defense as always. What's happened here actually? Bishop d4. Okay, so I guess that white's teeing up here for the exchange of rooks. After f5, we'll go rook e3, and again, yeah, I mean, this should just be just a draw. Well, we're going to see whether Matthew Wadsworth can make anything of it. The time situation has changed enormously, of course. They were at parity, and now Matthew Wadsworth is on 21 minutes to 1. That could be crucial, actually. That could be difficult. But yeah, the position is quite.
She's all right at this 1 minute. I saw her play a match. I've now forgotten who it was against. She played some match against another girl, and she was doing really well on this very fast chess.
Okay. Grieve against Knight Blockade. So that has actually worked out quite nicely for white. Well, I mean, it looks like it's just going to be a draw in actual fact, I guess. No, it's white to play. Sorry, white to play. I don't think that makes a difference, really.
No, it wasn't against Go. It was against Dunny Gormally. She was beating Dunny Gormally at really fast chess. He had some bet he could win like 8 out of 10 or something like that, but she just beat him in the first 2 games, if I remember it right.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, I remember reading about that. Yeah, I mean, I guess white's going to play bishop d7, maybe something like this, but I would expect black to be able to play the knight round to b2. Golly, to get the knight round to b2 and take on d1 and swap off these 2 sets of pawns. It should really be a draw. A little bit strange, yeah. Rook d7, I think you would have expected.
Ameet, that his bishop d7 was a mouse slip.
Okay, yeah.
He intended.
I was shocked. I fell off my chair, Ameet. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was going crazy. So yeah, but well played anyway, Ameet. And thank goodness that didn't lead to a completely different result. Who else are we looking for? Julia Volovich. This is a tough game. So black has just played b5. So I would expect white to take on Basson now. That's good. Rook takes b6. Yeah, and now what is white going to play here? Maybe a solid move like. Got a few worries about the queen side here. Mm. And rook b4 will be coming in as well, attacking this one. If you play, I mean, b3 is possible. Maybe it's the best move actually. It feels a little bit loose here, but after all, look at black. Black's not doing amazing stuff yet. So I could maybe go b3 and rook a3 afterwards, consolidate like that, and then, well, maybe play a move like queen c2. When it's possible. It's a little bit awkward. I mean, this knight is going to get into play now. So I think that I sort of say that black's probably, starting to make some progress there. But yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, white's going to be the one under a little bit of pressure, I think. Who else we got? Poisonous mushrooms. Yeah, we saw that one. Katoma Gunslinger has won now against Queen and Pawns. So that was according to rating.
Did that finish? Oh, we looked at that recently.
William Claridge Hansen didn't indeed play d4 and also played Queen f4. threatening queen g5, and I think it's going to be curtain soon. And a very, very fine game. Really, really nice game there.
What about Hebs?
Hebs is grinding. Rook and 4 versus rook and 3.
Oh, he's done it, yes. And now rook and 3 versus rook and 2.
Yeah. What can you say? I mean, in general, White's idea will be to obviously, you know, if you can check the king back and then get the king into here, that's the ideal. But that's probably unlikely. So I mean, White's aim will generally be to play h5. Oh, he's just done it. Take that pawn off and then try and make something with these f5, f6 pawns. It is completely drawn, but Keith has won so many of these, as we featured in Chess for Life.
Yes.
Our wonderful book, or one of our wonderful books that is definitely one of the best Christmas presents you could ever buy for anyone. What could be better than spending Christmas analysing rook endings, rook and 2 versus rook and 1, played by Keith Arkle. So but
what could be better than that?
It was a very nice it was a very nice chapter. It was very nice to look at that. So yeah, we'll see what Mark can do. I mean, I think Mark's won his fair share of these as well. High Grieve, where are we going here? King f6. Yeah, I mean, at some stage, Black's going to go knight d1, take c3, and or is actually Black going to be? Well, knight d1 to c3 will just equalize straight away. I wouldn't recommend. Well, I mean, you could go king. Yeah, no, knight d1. So this is going to be a draw. So it's going to be a very good draw for the Black player against Alex Goss against very strong White player. So Mark's going to be going on forever. William Claridge Hansen, King e8 has been played. Bishop d6, very strong. Queen e5 coming in. It's curtains, I'm afraid, for the Black player. Now, yeah, Zoe Varney's is very short of time here, just 27 seconds, but a very equal position, of course. Oh, but wait a minute, is this bishop trapped?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the bishop's trapped.
Uh-oh.
I said it was going to be a problem, didn't I? I said I was getting nervous about it. Now, yeah, I mean, this is going to be the desperate idea, isn't it? King b7, king d5. This is what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't think this is not going to do the business, I don't think.
Yeah.
King 6, f4, king f5.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
He's played well.
Yeah, especially after rook e3, you had the chance to go bishop takes e3. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was just maybe play the move too quickly, king e3, because after king c6, yeah, you're just not getting your bishop out.
Yeah.
So it's just
time, I suppose. That's
yeah, just one move there. So but well done, Matthew Wadsworth. Fine. Yeah, determination. That's how you get your rating up. That's you win games like this that you sort of think, well, how did I ever win that? But yeah, well played, but hard luck, Zoe.
C4 was C4 a move in that.
C4. I think we just take on B4 then. If you played, yeah, you could play C4, but then I take on B4, which is I think this ending is winning because you've got these pawns on F2 and G3 on dark squares. So I think that would be winning. And your bishop still isn't out of the woods. It's still not there. So yeah, I think that's leading to win. What's Mark got? F6. Okay, he's gone for the structure.
Okay.
Indeed. But this structure is actually drawn, normally speaking. So essentially, Black should just be should attack this pawn on e5. So black should play rook e1. When the king goes up, you should just keep on checking all the way. You just keep on checking. No worries at all. And it's just completely drawn. Bizarrely enough, I once spent quite a long time analysing this ending. And yeah, rook e1. And it turned out that you just had so many ways to draw. You know, it was really, it was very, it wasn't actually difficult, but it just looked scary, you know, and obviously with little time and your opponent's got loads, that's quite, you know, that's, I think black will do well, you know, to hold this, to be honest.
Even from here?
I think so, because with little time and Mark, you know, with all, we'll be trying all the little tricks.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's possible to go wrong, you know, but especially considering the rating difference. But black so far is playing it well.
Yeah. Oh, yes. He's got less than a minute. And if I were him, I would be getting nervous as well at this point.
Ooh, let's have a look. Is Harry Grieve managing to make something of this? Just a little bit. Ooh. Ooh, dear me. Yeah, this was not a good. Black, white played f4. And I mean, black could just have. I mean, black could have played knight e4, takes f2 check. Actually, you know, takes f2 and just liquidated all the pawns. But now black's actually got his knight back into trouble here.
What if the knight tries to escape? Yeah, via f2.
So then we go bishop f1.
Okay. Yes. All right. Via b2 then.
No, because you should go to g1. Yeah. That's the h1 rather, and then you should be able to get out to e3, h5. But it was a little bit. That was a little bit scary, unnecessarily scary, really. What's Mark doing? Mark's having a think here. Yeah, it's just really. It's just really, really difficult to make anything of this position like this.
Yeah.
But we're going to see. We're going to see.
Did the William Claridge Hansen game against Oliver Stubbs? Did that?
Indeed, he finished there.
He finished.
A brilliant game, absolutely brilliant game. Well done, William. Hard luck, the black player, but I think you. You faced a genius on the day there. That was look at that. Look at that middle game attack. Rook e4, bishop h6, rook fd8, rook h5. Look at that position. Brilliant stuff from white there. So that was really the game of the round, I think. Now Julia Volovich putting up a very tough resistance here. It's black is a little bit better, I think, because. White doesn't really have. Is black better? Well, black feels a little more active. Like there's more that could happen in the black position, you know. But I sort of think f5, knight coming round to here and trying to come in here somewhere. But yeah, I mean, black is a little bit better. But
we've still got quite a bit of time left.
They started quite late somehow, so I don't know whether they had problems with the Zoom calls or, but they did start quite late. Horsey chess, what's happening here? I'm seeing e3 happening. G6, e2, g7. Oh,
so she's kept 3 points. Oh,
my goodness me!
Is she?
E2, g7, e1.
It's g pawn. How did that happen?
That couldn't be possible. That wasn't.
Okay.
Was that really?
I don't know.
I just really assumed this was so. Oh, because I was expecting white to go black to go f3 actually. Although I may be being wrong, but I was expecting f5. I was expecting f3 from black, king takes and e4. Because if you go king f5, then I go e3.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thinking, well, it's a bit tough for the white king to get away there.
Yeah.
You know, if you go here, for example, I go bishop g3 or e3.
Yeah.
So I thought that you would have to go back to maybe to h3.
Yeah. And
then you can come in with a king. I mean, I don't know, because I mean, it could be that the white can go c4 there. But then I go bishop e5 simply, and when you move away, then I go bishop d4.
And how is the current position actually? Because
clever. Yes, clever. Stopping g7, and after here we're going to go e2, g7, and then we're going to get e1 queen check.
Yeah, is this a win?
This is a win. Yeah, this is a win. Because the knight's pawn is you can always just get in and force the king in front, and then your king comes a bit closer. That can always.
H pawn's a draw, and the F pawn's a draw, isn't it?
Well, it depends where the where the opponent's king is. But with a rook's pawn or a bishop's pawn, you've got more drawing chances. But with a knight's pawn, you've got no drawing chances whatsoever. So,
this one. Yeah.
Indeed. So, what have we got here? We've got well, Mark is going to we're going to get the king's going to come round to. I think Mark's going to put at some stage he's going to put his rook on the 8th rank, and we're going to give a check, and he's going to play rook d7, offering the exchange of rooks. But black can simply just move his rook away, rook a1, for example, or rook e1, and white's never really going to be able to keep, not going to be able to keep his king close enough, basically. That's the problem. But it's, as I said, it's nerve-wracking for the opponents, and I've seen Mark win these. So oops. So rook d1 can be played. So king c7 from Mark, I think. You could rook e1 would be a good reply, for example, to that. It's just very, very difficult to really do anything with this. But okay, we're going to see. Julia Volovic, game still tough positional fight. So bishop being activated. T3 might be possible. Bishop c3 is also not stupid, just to swap off that bishop, because that bishop's doing a lot more than white. So I quite like the look of bishop c3, to be honest, in this position. White's starting to unravel just a little bit there, and that actually looks quite all right for white. Yeah, horsey chess has now c4 here. The black king's going to come closer. That has come indeed, and the mate is not far away. I think king f6 is probably the easiest way. With threatening, we're just threatening queen g6, queen g7. So hard luck, Zoe Varney. Well played, Matthew Wadsworth. Very tough game. Nice watch.
In the queen and pawn endgame, in Zoe's game. F1 H1.
Indeed, yes, indeed. With all those extra pawns, Zoe was never going to have a chance. That's right, Keith. We've been mentioning your rook endings, Keith.
Keith, what about Hipster's game?
You must be following that one with a certain amount of experience. It's rook to d1 check.
Oh, Keith, would you like to join us on the stream for a moment? If so, I will send you a link.
Oh, you heard from Loz that Mark was playing rook and 2 versus rook and 1. Ah, excellent. So okay, so rook d5. That's indeed a very typical way of trying out this position. All right. Let's have a look. How it was the best and cleverest way that we can do this. I think you'd really want the rook over on the C file, I think. And then at some stage you want to... Yeah, but whatever you do, it's still... You think, well, Hebden's going to win? Yes, I think so too. Although, yeah, I think it will be a lot of pressure to deal with. He's got until move 107 to try it. So still another 46. Still another 36 moves to go. So should be tough. But the black playing quite well so far. Okay, no problem, Keith. But if you join the stream and you fancy, sort of talking about some of the games or telling us how you're getting on and what you're doing and how Arkle's Endings is selling, then yeah, just
come along a different day. Yes,
and Natasha will send you the link and we'll get you on. So that would be really nice. It would be lovely to catch up. So Rook E2, King D7. So what Mark would really like to do in this position is to play Rook C5 and Rook C8 mate. The only problem is that wherever you move your rook, black is going to keep on checking you. The only place to be safe would be in front of your rook when you can no longer go on to the 8th rank. And the funny thing is that I think even... well, there are a lot of positions that even if the black rook ends up on the 8th rank, it's still a draw. So, for example, have we got a... let's open up another analysis diagram here. So, for example, if we go rook c5 there, or let's say rook b5, threatening rook b8, we give a check. The king comes here. We give a check. And yeah, the only place you can be safe is king b7, but that means that your rook is no longer going in. And the same pattern happens all the time. So what we could do, of course, is to go king, maybe d6, and we keep on checking with the rook. We keep on checking with the rook. We keep on checking with the rook. Maybe we go back there or something like that. And we can actually just play this move rook d8. And then afterwards, we are just going to play the king to e8, and then we'll play the rook to a8, and then we'll start checking, etc. afterwards. So it's kind of yeah, it should be drawn, but it's just it's so easy to get confused. I mean, it really is. So so I think rook c1 check is what black's going to play. Yeah, rook c1. Black's playing this pretty well though. Keeping it all together, keeping it to about 30 seconds on the clock, which is, not bad. Hebs has got more than 20 minutes. Harry Grieve has drawn against Knight Blockade, so that late attempt to trap the knight didn't quite work out. So I think we've got 2 games going, unless we're missing one. That's Julia Volovich and also Mark Hebden.
Well, black can't move that rook off the e file because the knight on e8's on pre-sen.
No, I mean black's got to be a little bit careful here because obviously it's the sort of thing that if you you could even end up a little bit worse, if you're not careful. But in principle, it sort of looks balanced at the moment. Let's just see what Mark is going to do here. King d5, yeah. So I would probably with black, I would give a few more checks just to force the king over to the back. And then afterwards, black's could decide. Yeah, black's could really decide where the king is going to go there. Let me have a look. Now I'm just wondering actually. Has black? I think black can white maybe do something subtle here. I think you maybe can. So what I'm just wondering about is, so rook b8 is a threat now. So I think go rook f1, and then white goes king e3. And obviously rook e1, king d2 is just winning for white there. So after king e3, that's the last. Oops, that's the last check that you can give. So the black king has to move. And now if we come here, this is a bit of the problem. We can go rook check, king there.
Rook f8.
Rook check, but we can just come back. That's the problem. You know, that's always the problem, that you can just go back like that. And if I go, what I can go is I can go rook f8, king e6, rook e8 check. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
King f5, and then rook e7. But then I can actually just go king g6 and hold like this. So
could we then march our king round to e8?
You could definitely give it a go. The only problem is I'm going to probably check you when and there's a yeah, it's a little bit of a problem to do this, because yeah. So let's have a look. Let's march the king round. Check here, check there, here, check there. And then say we go something like this. And then when you come here, I'll just give you checks from the back. So
that's a brilliant line with lots of double exclamation marks in it.
Not rook e7, e6, you're saying. Ah, you might be right, actually. You might be right indeed. Rook e8, king f5, e6. The only problem is that we take on f6 there. That's the big problem. Yeah, that one's just not quite winning. So yeah, I don't know. Let's have a look. So black's gone over to g8. Okay. Ooh. Well, we're going to claim that a success, that we've managed to get the king over to g8 rather than e8. E8 is the better square. It's always better to be opposite the advanced pawn. Is my claim to play these positions. But wait a minute. Got to be a little bit careful about this. King f5, maybe. I think Hebs is going to play king f5 just to have the possibility of a check there. Yeah, it's getting a little bit risky, this one. So after king f5, you're threatening rook g4. And you're going to cut off the king like that. That's a little bit scary. Yeah, I think this is getting a little bit more scary now, with just 18 seconds on the clock. I think maybe we should just go back to. Should we go back to?
Julia's in trouble, actually.
Julia's in trouble, is she?
She's in fact lost.
Oh, good lord, that went quickly. Oh my goodness. Oh, that happened suddenly. G4. Yeah, that was a big move with knight g5 to f3 coming in. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that that white had to take on e5 and then go queen f1 to get rid of that knight. So a sudden turnaround there. Hard luck, Julia. But now we've got this position. And I think that Mark is going to play rook g4 now. And I think that we're... this is the beginning of the end. Yeah, this is the beginning of the end here.
I think white's going to win.
White's going to win this one now.
Okay.
So, unless there's something amazing, you should start checking. Now the king's going to come round. We're going to check again, probably. The king's going to come round. We're going to check again. The king's going to come to c6. The king is coming round to d6 to e7. You know, that's the problem of not having the king over here. You know, this king gets a very wide, just a very wide way of getting in there. So, and you go to c6 here, and I think this is just curtains. Oh my goodness! So that would be very well done, Hebs, but very hard luck, Black, because a really great defense, but just falling to Grandmaster technique. So rook e1 would be natural, and then we play king d6 afterwards. Rook c1, okay. Probably king d6. And the big problem really is if we go here, if we go rook d1, we'll go king g7, and rook d5, we've got king f7, and this is mate. So very nicely done, very nicely done. So king h6 has been played, and now I'm expecting rook g7. Actually, I think that would seem to be quite good. I would also think. Oh, wait a minute. Do we also have e6 in this position? I think. Oh, wait a minute. No, I think e6 works, doesn't it? e6 looks winning. So f takes, f7, rook c8, rook g8, and if rook f1, then king e7, and that because the king's cut off, the e pawn is never going to be dangerous. So e6 would win in this position. So I'm sure Mark's going to play that. That's indeed, Tom. That's right. Yeah, e6 is now winning. So a lot of decisive games. My goodness, very few draws. Just Harry Grieve against Knight Blockade, which was a very tough fight, and all the rest are decisive.
Yeah, it was looking like there were going to be a few draws, and then.
Yeah, most of the strong players have got through there, haven't they? Have we had a shock at all? I don't think so, really.
It's gone with seeding.
No, I don't think so. I think it's all gone by seeding there. So, Mark spending a bit of time composing himself. E6, there we are. Well done, Hebs. And now f7. Just making myself a top guesser.
Right. It's probably too late for me now to catch up.
I fear so. I think I'm too far ahead there.
I might get the best percentage.
Oh, that's possible.
On one guess.
Now there's quite a few different wins, but king e7 is the best win, of course. So rook f1 and king e7 up. Yeah, Oscar. Yeah, have a good sleep. Just forget about it and carry on the next day. You would trust the pressure in stats,
Oscar.
So
left.
Yeah, lots of games left. 8 games left. So just I think your opponent played pretty well today. So that was I mean that's just one of those things. It's we'll be looking out for you tomorrow. Don't you worry. So why is Heb spending so long over king e7? Ah, okay, right. We got that there, actually. Move 11. 11. Yeah, bishop d6 would have been better indeed. Taking on c3 is a bit, it's a little bit static somehow. It's true. When you when White's got the two bishops like that, it can be a bit hard. It could just be hard long term to hold back the to hold back the white center. So yeah, I think bishop d6 would have been good in your game indeed. Mark spending ages. Yay, play king e7. King h5 is what I'm guessing. Losing is a bit hard, but it's a bit harsh. But I think you are giving yourself a position that's not, doesn't have too many active possibilities afterwards. It's going to be very hard to, to get play going. E5 was played. So Hebs will play f8 queen. King takes f8. And black resigns. Well played. Well played, man.
And it's great to see you playing.
Yeah, well done, Hebs. Well played. We had confidence in you. I did say that I did think that you'd win it, and Keith came on the channel as well and thought you'd win it too. So we're not surprised. It's a very tough one for Black to defend over a long period of time with little time. And well played. So there we are. We have come to the end of round one of the championship. Who has got 1 out of 1?
Well, Michael Adams has, and Matthew Turner, Ameet, Ghasi, Peter Finn with his default, Daniel Fernandez, Hebs, we just saw, Matthew Wadsworth in that long game against Ovani, Bogdan with his very nice attack, Tom O'Gorman against Chris Finn, and then Harry Grieve and Alex Goss was a draw. Jem Gurner got a
default. Yeah, that's right.
What's that flag there for Jem? Is he like Isle of Man? No, that's not Isle of Man, is it? Is it Jersey?
Jersey, I think. Jersey, that's right.
And William Claridge Hansen with that brilliant attacking game against Oliver Stubbs. Katarzyna Tomar won a nice positional game. Tamne Chopra against Oscar. Then we had Gregor Toshek winning that game. It was a long game against Julia Volovich, and then he came in on f3 at the end. Jonathan Blackburn had a win against Jude Shearsby, and Declan Shafi against Julie O, and Tom Villiers got his default. Yeah,
so this it's going to be quite a tough second round already. Actually, some difficult pairings there. So please do join us tomorrow at the same time for the championship round 2.
Round 2. Online Britain.
What are we doing tomorrow, Natasha? We're following the
in the afternoon. We're looking at the seniors and the major open, and the sort of grading limited sections, and then in the evening the championship again.
Fantastic. So thanks everyone for all the comments. It was really really nice. Lovely to see so many people in the chat. Thanks very much indeed, and speak to you and see you tomorrow.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.